The legacy continues. This is Adventure Sports Outdoors. Here's your host, Andy Bougas.
Welcome to another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors. We got a great show planned for you today. Me and my buddies a couple months ago spent some time down at Lake Shelbyville at the Lake Shelbyville Fish Habitat Alliance Habitat Day. It's a great organization that's been put together down there. They have a large group of volunteers, which is what makes it happen, where they put together a lot of these nice structures, artificial stumps. They also have a bunch of Christmas trees from Christmas that'll be there, and they'll put them out. So they put hundreds of structures out each year into Lake Shelbyville, which is, as you know, if you're in a Army Corps of Engineer lake, after about 50 years of existence, you're losing a lot of your wood. So when you lose your wood, you lose your structure, you lose your hiding places for your fish. So this has really worked out well for them. And I mean, this organization, they're getting calls from all over the country for people trying to duplicate this. Hardest part is getting the volunteers to come together on the build days to build these structures. But I tell you what, when we were there on the Habitat Day, when they were putting it in, there must have been 100 people, I would assume, there. You'll see it in the video. Everybody worked in conjunction together. Everything went so smoothly. I was very amazed at all the barges and how they loaded up the structures, and we took them out and we dropped them in the water. And then you're also going to see here, about a month and a half later, we go fish some of these cubes, right? You're going to see some of the fish that we catch on today's video. Those come off those cubes. There was fish all over those cubes already. So within a month or two, the cubes had fish, the trees were loaded full of fish, and so were the artificial stumps. So obviously this is working if they're going in that quickly and they're being used. So that's just a great organization. And then we're also going to have a little something here. The Notre Dame Fishing team had their annual end-of-year banquet. I believe they had that at Kelleher's Irish Pub, where Mister Fish Pat Sullivan is always taking care of them. So stay tuned, watch a great show here, and hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it.
Adventure Sports Outdoors is brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. The Illinois State Rifle Association, dedicated to education, safety training, and Illinois firearm owners. And by River Valley Charter Service, guided fishing trips in Central Illinois, 309-208-7587. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
Welcome back to Adventure Sports Outdoors. We're here today at the Lake Shelbyville Fish Habitat Alliance Habitat Day. This is a great organization down here at Lake Shelbyville. It consists of many different businesses, government agencies, different organizations. And what they do, being an Army Corps of Engineer lake, after about 50 years of existence, a lot of the wood and stuff starts going away. So this is what they do to help supplement it. It really helped the fishery here at Lake Shelbyville. As you can see behind me, they have these builds, and they put these things together. They get groups together all the time, 4 or 5 times a year, and they do these builds here. And then what they do is they have like a day like today, which they call the Habitat Day. And basically what they do is they have a bunch of volunteers that come out. They'll come down here, they'll drop the cubes in, they'll put GPS markers and everything on those locations. They will give that out to the people so everybody will know where these cubes are. Great locations to go find fish. So if you go to like Chip's Marine there in Sullivan, he has a whole list of the coordinates. I think you can go online and get it as well. But if you have those coordinates, and you can kind of come here, go straight to those spots, and you can find fish usually on those about any time of the year. So really helpful for people coming in and out of towns, really helping the fishery, giving those bait fish and things a place to hide and a place for those crappie to gather. So it's a great thing they're doing here at the Lake Shelbyville Fish Habitat Alliance. We wanted to come join them here today and see how this was done and maybe mark a few spots for when I'm here in May to catch a couple.
So today's the annual Fish Habitat Improvement Work Day, and it's a partnership between the Lake Shelbyville U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Lake Shelbyville Fish Habitat Alliance and IDNR Fishery. So we're just putting in some artificial structure today, as well as some Christmas trees. You know, Lake Shelbyville is a 50-plus-year-old reservoir, and a lot of the habitat that was here when the lake originally opened isn't here anymore. So we're just replenishing some of that structure and habitat in the lake. You know, a lot of the woody trees have degraded and you know, either washed out and flooded. Now they're up in the uplands and just not available for the fish anymore.
And when I've been talking to Chip at Chip's Marine about this, and I tell you what, this organization here is probably more special than most, because I was listening to him talk up here, and you know, this is a national thing. Things are going national now, and it's basically, people are using Lake Shelbyville as kind of like the place to look at to see how to do this to help their fisheries. There's a lot of Army Corps lakes out there, and that's the thing, 50 years old, your wood's leaving, it's almost gone. Just a great way to supplement it and help your fisheries continue. I tell you what, if I didn't live 2.5 hours away, I'd be here fishing here all the time. Of course, I live a little farther away, but I do make it down here a couple of times a year just because I love the fishery. It's pretty hard not to catch crappie here, to be honest with you. You have to be a pretty bad fisherman, I think, which I have done on occasion, but we won't go there. So, but hey, Corey, I really appreciate you spending the time. Tell us a little bit about it. Appreciate what you do here. I think it's a great thing for everybody, and hopefully there's a lot more lakes that kind of start creating these groups doing this. Thank you, and we appreciate it. Hey, we've had a great day today. Me and my buddy cameraman Tim Conover. Been out here on Lake Shelbyville putting in some different habitats for the fish. I tell you what, guys, you really need to go check out the Lake Shelbyville Fish Habitat Alliance and some of the things that they do here at this lake. I think this could be repeated all over the country. It actually is being repeated all over the country. Actually, Lake Shelbyville has become one that is actually known for this type of thing, so they're kind of becoming a model for all these other locations to try this. It's been absolutely a great day. Met a lot of great people, a lot of great volunteers here. And as you can see behind us, they even had a rock barge where they put in like, I don't know, $130,000 worth of gravel or something. Crazy that they put in this lake, and every year they're putting more rock and stuff around the lake. These cubes are going in, those stumps are going in. Even Christmas trees, as you will see in the video, that it's just amazing the amount of structure they put in here. They were telling me they believe there's somewhere around over 2,000 cubes that are in this lake, and that includes the cubes, the stumps, the trees. So they've added so much structure to this lake. It's the reason why it's such a good crappie lake. There's a lot of great guides out here on this lake. You got Matt England with England Expeditions. You got Steve Welch with Lake Shelbyville Guide. There's a lot of other ones out there, just a couple of them there that I know. So if you're interested in catching some crappie, I think Lake Shelbyville would be the place to go.
A few months later, Andy and his wife returned to Lake Shelbyville, only this time for their May fishing trip.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Here we go. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, yeah. That's a nice one.
I don't think you're in the
Look at that one. See it? That's a nice crappie right there. Caught on a nuclear hair jig. Hooked right in the top of the mouth perfectly. It's a good fish. Oh, there's another bite. Another bite. Another fish. Another little guy. Another one bites the dust. Come on now. It may not be a slabber, but she's a crappie. We back at her here. getting out, trying to get some slabby slabs. Over, see what I'm using there? And they call that the minnow presentation. If you have it like that, I believe they call it the mermaid presentation.
You know one?
It's about time to find you a green, baby.
Do what?
You need to find you something like this in that package. There we go. I'm bringing on a jar. I'm bringing on a jar. Oh. Hold on, big fella. Hold on, big fella. And a giant, and it's like 8 inches. That's a mounter. That's a pounder. Good one? Oh yeah, get it in. Oh yeah, yeah. Nice, Leah. Nice, baby. Good job. I'll tell you what, we're catching fish. We're not catching 1,000 of them, but we're catching fish. Got a 12-incher back there, a couple 11s, probably a bunch of 9.5s, and we threw back a bunch of 8.5 so far. Only been out here a couple hours, so we're doing pretty good. We changed up techniques a couple times. First we were casting, caught a few, using a little nuclear jig from Dean Martin. Then we kind of went, tried using a bobber, 16 inches or 24 inches below a bobber. Tried doing a little bit of that. Got a couple little ones that way. Kind of going back to what I really like. I like spider rigging and just drifting. So far we're doing all right, catching a few small ones, a few big ones here and there. So hopefully the day continues to get better. As they've been saying the last couple of days, it's actually gotten better as the days went on. So hopefully we'll catch a few more. That is an absolutely beauty. And I seem to be catching a lot of these bigger ones on this goldfinger, babe. Stacked in here. Oh my God, yeah. Almost 12. Almost. Almost a nice 12-incher right there. Take those all day long. Nice. There we go, baby. There we go. Nice. Nice. That's a good one, too. Good one. Smallest one of the day, but we will take her. We will keep her. We just need niners. We can't catch our unders because we're too good at fishermen. It's hard for us to catch unders. We've been struggling at it. We wish we were that good at fishermen. Ah, look at that. Mama getting on the game. Atta girl. Oh, and she just caught the, and she just took the prize for the smallest. And no, we are not going to keep a 7-incher. But
No. I'm with the kids that have it.
last day Shelbyville, and we still catching some slabs, baby. Little 1/8 ounce jig. She's got a nice double. See that? This little crappie. Got on that top hat, gold finger, the 1/8 ounce homemade jig head. Looks like a nice little fish here. Let's check her out. Final day here in Lake Shelbyville. I tell you what, we've had a ball. The wife won't let me put her on camera much, but I guess I'll get her a couple times maybe today. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're trying to stay local with all these different local lakes and kind of show you different techniques that work so you can go out there and do it yourself, because we're just everyday fishermen just like you. So appreciate you watching the show today. Stay tuned next month. We'll have something special for you again.
Back in Peoria, we caught up with our good friend Pat Sullivan, Mister Fish, hosting an end-of-the-school-year banquet for the Notre Dame High School fishing team that Pat Sullivan has been helping to coach this year.
It comes in 4 minutes lobsters, the first course. I just wanted to say, for not knowing each other, 6 weeks ago, this has been a blast, and it was like we've been fishing forever together. And I mean, fishes the same way I do, fishes for bluegill and crappie first, and then doesn't go home. Sorry. But anyhow, I'm going to introduce Doug here, and it's been a very, very good 6 weeks, and he's the organizer, he's the computer guy, he gets these guys together. And
all right, so I am a computer guy. I do take notes and I work off that, so I'm not real good at ad-libbing. Anyway, this is my first year coaching bass fishing, obviously. I've fished all my life. I love to fish, and it's been a great experience for me coaching. We fished 14 times, not counting the sectional. We went out fishing 14 times in the short period that we had, and I thought that was pretty good. That was a lot. We fished in some cool weather. I remember at Mr. Kelch's lake, a couple of you, Dylan and Cody, were pretty cold standing on the shore there after the trolling motor died, and you guys, I ain't mess with that anymore. We're just going to fish from the shore. We fished in some rain. I know I fished with Sean, who's not here tonight, but we fished in an all-day rain. But these guys stay with it. Whether the weather's good, fish are biting or not, they stay with it. I do want to call the boys up. I'm sorry. I warned. So I'm going to call each of you up, and I want you to share a story, experience, something you learned, or how you learned I'm a great fisherman, or something like that. But we'll start with Jay. So those of you that don't know, this is this is Jay Frazee. He's a sophomore at Peoria, Notre Dame.
okay, wait a minute. We got something. We're going to surprise him. Right, guys? Look what I found in a tree.
Oh,
I found that in a tree. It was a tree pounder.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, those hooks are sharp.
Yeah, you can set that over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So more on
I
that.
have more
Yeah.
kicks and gigs.
So more on that. One day, I got my pole stuck in a tree trying to get my bait out because I was really dedicated to it, and I just really wanted it back because it was a really good lure. Caught some big fish on it, and Jake tried to back up the boat to it, and somehow got my pole stuck in the tree. I don't know how I did that, and with the team, I just learned like how to use a boat and all that stuff from Jake, pretty much. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah.
Cody, why don't you go next? This is Cody Slevin Brown, sophomore at Notre Dame High School.
I don't know. I don't have no tree bait for you.
So my story is from the day before sectionals, when me and Jake, we already had our boat in the water, and Jake's over there helping Dylan and Isaac and Mr. Sullivan getting their boat in the water. But I'm cleaning up stuff, and I hear some yelling going on, which is pretty normal with this team. We yell at each other a lot. And I look back, and the boat is completely in the air, like completely straight up. And that was because the rope that you used to pull it up snapped in half. So that was my funny story. And I want to thank the coaches. It was a great season. I hope we can get out some over the summer, too.
Yep. We went to.
Then our final sophomore underclassman, Jacob Corey.
Wait a minute. Let me do it right.
All right.
Because anytime we needed heavy lifting, putting the boat on the trailer, picking the trailer up and putting the boat underneath the trailer. Jacob!
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for that. But I just had a couple funny stories, but I'll only share one. And so this story, it was like one of my first times ever going out boat fishing. So, I mean, that's a skill I learned. So I learned how to boat fish. And so first time I ever went boat fishing, I caught my first fish. And so just a little backstory, or just a little back information. When you're trying to land a fish into the boat, you're just taking it out of the water into the boat. And that's just big to the story. So when I caught the fish, I reeled it all the way to the boat. And it was my first fish, so I thought I had to like flip this thing out of the water like insanely hard. And in the process of doing so, I ended up must have hitting you or like you must have jumped backwards because a hook near the eye is not a good thing. And so he went flying, he like jumped out of the way and like knocking Cody over, and he's at this point hanging out of the boat because like he's barely
one arm.
Yeah, he had one arm, couldn't help him in. Cody's barely hanging on, but I just thought that was hilarious. I wish, yeah. And that was my funny story. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now our two upperclassmen. Let's start with Isaac Deiters. He's a junior at Notre Dame. He is, I think you're the only returning fisherman, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so he's the only one that's
Veteran.
seasoned.
I mean, I could be up here sharing stories all day, just going off of some of Corey and Cody's stories. They're the best. But kind of the same boat with Cody. The day before sectionals, we're kind of clustered. We get there a little late. We got our sandwiches. We're trying to eat them before we get out there. And we put the boat in as fast as we can because obviously we're late as normal. And the plug is not in the boat. And I was trying to man the trolling motor up front, and obviously I forgot. Luckily, I could hear the water flowing in. So ran back there, put that back in. But yeah, good day. Had a little trouble getting it back on the boat, on the trailer later, but that's a different story. But yeah, I just want to thank the coaches and everyone that gave us lakes. That was awesome. Definitely didn't do that last year, but yeah, I just want to thank Mr. Sullivan. He was always willing to help, obviously with the food and everything, but I mean, day before sectionals, we went to his fish room and he gave us everything we could want. He had all his poles. He said, anything you guys want, you can have. I mean, you got free reins to everything. So, and that's just a big deal to me. I think that's awesome. Dylan and I used a lot of his poles that day, just throwing everything we could. I mean, obviously we struggled a little bit, but I mean, the best thing you can do is just give them everything in the water and see what they like. And Mr. Sullivan obviously was very willing to help, and Mr. Simmons was great with helping us out too. Always talking to us at school and giving us the news of what's going on. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys and thanks for the help.
Then we have our final Dylan Langhoff, who said he prefers to fish in Texas, but he'll take it up here when he can.
My story was when we were at Mrs. Gersh Lake, and she had this big old pontoon with a tiny little trolling motor that could barely keep up, and it was super windy, and this lake was pretty long, so we went all the way up, like going into the wind so we could just coast back down to the dock. And we got back down to the dock, and by that point the motor was basically dead, and we couldn't get to the dock in time, so we just kept drifting. And at the end of the lake was like a long like stream that we definitely get stuck at. But we were stuck, and we couldn't paddle because the wind was too strong, and we were stuck back there for an hour and a half, listening to Bob Marley and chilling for an hour and a half until Isaac and Jake rescued us with the new motor. So that was my story.
What about your dog?
Well, my dog's name is Pharaoh, but his middle name's Kelleher because my parents met here like 20 years ago. So, yeah, Mr. Sullivan found that pretty interesting. And then, yeah, especially with the
The lakes and boats that were donated to us, appreciate it a lot. It's hard to get on some lakes, especially with high school kids, and like Coach said, these guys were good, and they got to fish with some of the other guys, Danny and the rest of them, and I mean, it was the one story I liked the best is we're driving home. You know how you hear things as parents. I haven't lost my hearing yet, so as a grandparent, but somebody's asking somebody else that's struggling in school, hey, I'm doing okay in school, I can help you. Where do you want help? I know the teacher. We'll go talk to him. I go, wow, that's good stuff. And that's what you guys are made of. And so we won't have any problems for the next 2 years with most of these guys, because it's great stuff. And parents, thank you for that, really. But I've coached a lot of kids. I coached 10 or 12 years of boxing. I coached at the Olympic Training Center, and I coached basketball at Rolling Acres, softball, tennis at Richwoods. I just like coaching. I tell you what, these 6 guys, if I had them on a boxing team, we'd be going all over the country. And they were that good of good kids, and that's what you like in the whole thing.
Adventure Sports Outdoors is brought to you in part by Corsall Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. The Illinois State Rifle Association, dedicated to education, safety training, and Illinois firearm owners. And by River Valley Charter Service, guided fishing trips in Central Illinois, 309-208-7587. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.